Hi, there's not much time since the sun is just about to go down, and I wanted to make a quick video about what I think is wrong with Indian economy. Now, there are different reasons for different countries. In India's case, the government spending is really low. So that's usually government spending is usually seen as one of the ways to get out of slowdown, because when the government spends a lot, it undertakes projects, big projects. It create jobs, and these people who get employed, they create demand in the economy, and with time and with multipliers effect, the economy finds itself reasonably buoyant again. Now, the finance minister has already said that India can't spend its way out of the recession, which is a clear indication that the government spending is not going to be much. In most of the developed nations, the government spending is up to the level of 40 to 45%. In India's case, it is 11%. So, as it is very low and it's not going to increase. In that case, the second option that's left with us is the private investment. Can private investments be increased? The answer is no, because the money for the investments, it usually comes from the savings. Now, the saving rate has really gone down in India's case, and the place where it has gone down is the household saving. In For the lower middle class, it is so that they are not able to save much, because they end up spending most of the money that they earn on the food items, something as basic as food items. mm, Despite India being one of the largest producers of food, wheat, so many different spices, it just keeps on struggling with hike in the prices of food items because of the supply, because of the constraints and blockages in the supply chain. The wholesalers and the retailers, they end up making a lot of profit, undue profit, and they just close markets for some days and create artificial demands. And of course, there are, to an extent, there are reasons like weather, erratic weather, or its sudden rise in the demand for exports. Even the domestic demand may increase, but in the larger run, it's usually this trend is because the wholesalers and the retailers, they start charging quite a bit unnecessarily to increase their profit margins, and there's no policy in place as per now that can control it effectively. The government usually puts a ban on the exports, but that's just a short term, it's just a short term remedy of sorts. What really caught my attention for the middle income group was the loss of their savings. There has been a remarkable, uh, extraordinary loss in their saving rate. That's because of the money they have melted away in buying themselves property or on their children's education. Now, as for property, that's a completely different realm which we can touch upon some other time. As for their children's education, that's something which is worth talking about. There is exorbitant rise in the fees that some of the schools charge, um, and in, they're, they charge up to 9 lakhs to. There are schools that charge 9 lakhs annually for their children's education. Now, this is this is ridiculous to an extent. If you ask me, this is my, of course, this is my video, I'm expressing my opinion, right? Because most of the students who are pass outs from such schools, the next step is that they go abroad, they go to some foreign country, and ultimately start get a job there and contribute in their economy. Whereas most of the IITians, they come from states like Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, UP, Bihar, and most of the competitive exams, you have your successful students from these states coming from some modest background. So what I wanted to say is basically, when the parents they liquefy their FDs, they're not just doing a disservice to their country, they're also doing a disservice to themselves. They are creating not such amazing citizens, because these are the people who would go out and would contribute elsewhere, uh, some other places economy. So even if they harbor a dream of going out, it's always a good idea not to splurge money, because most of the times, if you're a parent, or if you have had if you had a fair if you spent some time, fair amount of time with little ones, nephews, nieces, cousins, you would know that schools can teach only to an extent, and you have to put in a lot of effort yourself. So um, a modest school is any day a better option. Now this is something that you can do on your at your own level. However, what I'm really looking for is that the government, because on a large scale, the large scale comes only at the governmental level, at the administerial level. So there should be a policy in place where the schools can't uh, hike their fees after a certain point, just like MRPs on products. There should be a cap on the school fees as well. Just think about it. Why exactly has the government not um, put a leash on this particular in this particular field, on this particular uh, part of the economy? Is something that can be interesting to find out. So let me just summarize things. I really feel what's wrong with the saving rate is because it's due to the fact that the service sector is charging unduly for the services, whether it's your plumber, because you never know whether he's charging the right amount, or your electrician, or the schools, or the hospitals. If you want to get yourself treated, so you end up splurging quite a money, because you go and everyone wants to have health. So your good hospitals, good schools, good restaurants, good services, there should be an MRP. Even there should be a cap uh, instituted even in that field. All right, so that's that for now. Bye bye.